If the weather was cold, would you try to change the weather or would you put on a sweater? Same applies to your life. You can't always change the circumstances, but you can change how you react to them, or you could give up something that could help you gain happiness. And we have 15 suggestions for you in today's video, 15 things to give up if you want to be happy. Number 1. Give up wanting to be right. How great is it to win an argument? How sweet the victory. Or is it? Often when we prove someone wrong, they exit hurt and despising us. So really, we're just right and alone. Working with people successfully and maintaining happy and healthy relationships includes a good amount of compromise. Finding the exact right answer isn't always the solution, but often the most comfortable or acceptable solution is right and the only one that leads to happiness. As self-help author Wayne Dyer puts it, would I rather be right or would I rather be kind? And Aluxers, you can listen to Wayne Dyer's #1 New York Times bestseller, The Erroneous Zones, on Audible for free. Number 2. Give up judging yourself and others. In an article for Psychology Today, Dr. Ruben Nodum suggests that the language we use to describe things easily becomes the same language we use to describe ourselves. He gives the example of a movie two people watch. For one, it was the best movie. To the other, it was awful. So which one was it? Was it the best or the worst movie in the world? The truth is, it can be both because judgment is only based on perspective. It isn't necessarily fact, nor does it take the true power or position from that thing. The movie still exists, but we might be changed. But what's interesting is those judgments of a movie lead to different experiences. One encourages conversation, the other kind of puts people off. And once one thing is awful, how easy is it for the weather to be awful too, and then your job, and then you actually suddenly feel that you're awful as well? Judgment doesn't bring us any nearer to the truth, nor fact, and definitely not happiness. So ditch it. Number 3. Give up comparisons. Along a similar flow of thought, comparisons could also be robbing you of happiness. Give up your need to compare yourself and your life to other people. We are all on our own journey. No one route can be identical. There's nothing to compare your life to. Comparing won't get you there any faster. It takes energy. It's rarely a motivation, and it distracts us from our own responsibilities. So stick to your lane and forge ahead. And if you needed some encouragement, we'll be the first to say you're doing perfectly fine for you. Number 4. Give up limiting yourself. By now you should be realizing that nothing is actually limiting except what you think or believe about yourself. If you want to believe you're the best at something, nothing is stopping you. The truth is, when you're overcome with limitless beliefs, your horizon becomes a lot bigger and your capacity for problem solving becomes a field of options. As change therapist Ellie Roselle puts it, a belief is not an idea held by the mind, it's an idea that holds the mind. Number 5. Hakuna Matata that shit, aka give up the past. If a warthog and a meerkat singing a cute song don't make you see that the past doesn't really matter, then perhaps looking at the past for what it is will help. The real reason we like the past so much is because it's known. The present wants something from us and the future is an unknown. The past is like a comforting blanket. Even if it was scary or painful, at least we know it. But the thing is, the past can do nothing for us. We know what happened, we contain the knowledge in us. Just make sure to learn what you need to learn from it and move on. Number 6. Give up trying to control what's happening to you. Look, it happens, that's for sure. Maybe your job is on the line, you're sick, or your year of traveling got canceled by COVID. Whatever your reality is, we have less control over what happens to us than we would all prefer. What you can control is what you do with those realities. Will you deal with your illness graciously, maybe learn and even change your lifestyle because of it? Or will you leverage your job loss for an even better career path of consulting for your employer, or perhaps their clients? Maybe your delayed travel plans mean you can take another opportunity that comes along. Your reaction to what is happening can be controlled, and that response is what can give you control over any situation, and that is true happiness. Number 7. Give up labels and boxes and stereotypes. Labels are so limiting. The quickest way to fence yourself in is to believe that your limit lies at the end of your current title. Same goes for other people. Perhaps you're a stay-at-home parent. That doesn't mean you're not a dynamite entrepreneur. Coming from a tough upbringing doesn't have to limit you, just the same as graduating from an Ivy League university doesn't make you a shoo-in for success. If you want a fair and equal chance to be happy, start by dropping all the labels and stereotypes that limit you, and then stop limiting other people the same way too. You'll be pleasantly surprised at how much happier you'll be with that freedom. Number 8. Give up talking down to yourself. So many of us have a bad habit of being our own worst critic. The world is harsh enough, there's no need for you to be unkind to yourself too. If there is something you don't like about yourself, then we encourage you to admit it and change it. But constantly dissing yourself won't help or fix anything. If you want to find happiness, then drop those bad habits like a hot potato and be your own cheerleader. Number 9. Give up doing things for approval. Most of us carry childhood needs into adulthood, and that's not good. We need to grow out of those needs to experience true happiness. One childhood need is for approval. Kids want you to watch every cartwheel and offer positive feedback, or it wasn't even worth doing. Each time they get an adult's admiration for every minor move they make, it amplifies their need for approval instead of doing things for the pure joy of it. It's a bad trait that overparented modern childhood teaches kids. Of course, put down the keyboard. We're not knocking positive reinforcement or encouragement for your kids. It just goes wrong with the constant overemphasis. Your adult life should be able to continue without someone acknowledging every minor move you make. Enjoy the cartwheel for yourself, not because it impresses somebody else. Number 10. Give up your idea of making money. This one might seem a little counterproductive for a community of future billionaires like Aluxers, but hear us out. We're referring to the advice of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and they have a few billion each to keep them warm at night. The concept they both preach is that of giving up making money as your focus. Rather, work on providing the best darn service or product that you can muster. Musk in particular talks about solving people's problems. That will bring you happiness and satisfaction. Solving an undeniable problem with a brilliant solution will mean plenty of money will come your way. Find out more about these two business greats in our videos all about them. 15 business lessons from Elon Musk and 15 business lessons from Jeff Bezos. Number 11. Give up blaming. Things are never going to be perfect. You can blame COVID, a recession, or your schooling, but it won't get you any closer to overcoming those challenges. You need to unpack the problem, mistake, or misfortune, learn from it, and then put it aside and proceed. You won't find happiness or success at the end of a long list of all the reasons you have for not succeeding. So ditch the need to pass off the blame and look toward the opportunities that you do have. Number 12. Give up waiting for the right time. We often think we'll be happy in a new job or with the right partner or when we lose 20 pounds. Hey Luxers, there is no such thing as the perfect time. The only thing that makes one time better than another is your commitment. Number 13. Give up fear. If you had to draw fear or describe it or invite it to a dinner party, how would you do that? You couldn't really. That's because fear is made up. It doesn't actually exist as an entity. No one else can ever see it, feel it, or know it. Franklin D. Roosevelt explained that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Fear itself is the biggest threat, not the thing that you found challenging. Because that you can actually do something about if you don't have fear blurring your vision. Work on stopping those nervous twitches from devolving into fear when something happens. Use that creative energy to find solutions instead. Number 14. Give up attachment. And while on the subject of fear, let's talk about attachment. A lot of people think that love and attachment are the same, but one can't thrive in the presence of the other. Feeling attached to people or things comes from fear of losing them, so they need to be owned or labeled. Love is only concerned with giving and nurturing or being a good curator while associated with that person or item. Love is a knowing that everything comes and goes, and that there is no true ownership of anything. Lao Tzu explains that in attachment, there is no happiness. By letting it go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go. But when you try and try, the world is beyond winning. Number 15. Give up thinking you understand the world. If we ever get to a point where we feel we are better than others because we've reached an apex of success or possess an ultimate knowledge of the world, we'll probably be just bored. Paulo Coelho puts it like this: you're always learning. The problem is, sometimes you stop and think you understand the world. This is not correct. The world is always moving. You never reach the point where you can stop making an effort. The joy and wonder in life is the reason to never get to the end of the understanding of how everything works. Happiness comes when we realize we actually know very little, and so we will always have something to look forward to. So, Aluxers, what would you give up to be happy? What's stopping you? Share with us in the comments, and you might just turn on a light bulb moment for somebody else. Now, sticking with us until the end, of course, you're getting a bonus as a reward. Give up complaining, you big baby. Let's just put it out there, there's always going to be a reason to complain about something. It's not a special skill. No one wins Mr. Universe talent section for being the best at complaining. It's too easy to do. The truth is that nobody actually has the power to make you unhappy. It's only your response to the things that happen that makes you unhappy. Choose to rather take responsibility and see the opportunity when something doesn't go how you hoped, because complaining won't fix it, no matter how well practiced you are.